Raceway as NASCAR's Winston Cup Bud Pole qualifying may eventually take place here. The fans have stood by, and of course the weather has been threatening off and on all day. Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. Glad you hung around for NASCAR's Bud Pole qualifying at Kendall Pole Day here for Sunday's Frontier at the Glen. Now what's going to happen here in the next few minutes? The NASCAR Featherwhite modified cars are actually out for what will be their practice session, their only session of the day, and then very shortly after that we are going to roll the first of 49 NASCAR Winston Cup cars that will attempt to qualify for the top 25 spots in Sunday's Frontier at the Glen. We've had rain on and off all morning. Basically, they had one practice session this morning lasting about 45 minutes with the wet weather tires. They had a session early afternoon with the dry tires on, and now NASCAR is hoping that patience has paid off, and we will indeed get all 49 cars in and qualified for the top 25 spots. Let's check in further up pit road now with Bill Weber.
Well, how critical is qualifying here at Watkins, Glen? Very critical. Ask a guy like Mark Martin. 4 of the last 6 races here have been won from the pole, and no driver starting outside the top 13 has ever won at this racetrack. Mark Martin is a 3-time winner here at Watkins, Glen, but today he goes out 45th. That could be a considerable advantage since this will take place so late in the day. There are 49 cars here waiting to make their critical qualifying lap. All the way at the end, road course veteran Paul Gentilossi, who really would like to make some turns and turn some heads here at the Glen.
And so it was supposed to start at 2 o'clock this afternoon, but the NASCAR Winston Cup Series Bud Pole qualifying is getting set to get underway about 5:30. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and NASCAR, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, welcome you live to Watkins Glen International. It's Kendall qualifying day for the Bud Pole. And tomorrow we have more racing here at Watkins Glen at noon. The Busch North Series will compete in the Pepsi 150. Our happy hour can be seen at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening on The Deuce, and RPM tonight at 7 o'clock, also on ESPN2. Then Sunday, RPM today at 11:30, NASCAR today at noon. Our coverage of the Frontier at the Glen at 12:30, and then RPM tonight at 9 o'clock on Sunday evening. Well, we have sunshine right now as the modified cars have completed their half-hour practice. And now we get set for Bud Pole qualifying. And right now, Ned, the weather looks pretty good. And we're hoping that a cell that we saw on the radar goes the other way and doesn't interrupt our qualifying, which should be a good session.
Things do look great right now, and hopefully that we won't have any more weather here. We certainly have time before the sun would go down to get all 49 cars qualified here this evening. One thing that I would be a little bit concerned about, we'll see how it plays out, Bob, is the fact that the modifieds did run that 30-minute practice session there. They have a totally different type of rubber compound on those cars than these NASCAR Winston Cup cars do have. For the first few cars, I don't know if it'll have play any part there or not. We'll just have to wait and see.
We will qualify 1 through 25 here this afternoon in first round. Second round tomorrow will determine the 26 through 36 starters, and then the other 7 will be determined by provisionals. Qualifying record here is held by Dale Earnhardt, set 3 years ago. Bill?
Well, the last man scheduled to go out is road racing veteran Paul Gentilossi. How's your weekend or your day going so far?
Well, you can tell they got me laughed that way.
If nothing personal, you know.
Well, no, if they run out of TV time, they just cut away and they won't miss me.
This is a big challenge for you here. You are, for people that don't know you, you are a road course veteran. You've had a lot of success in Trans Am, and now you're coming over here trying to make, obviously, an impression.
The learning curve here is really Mount Everest. We've come to get to know people. I'd eventually like to come here as a team owner. It's a wonderful business, and you got to learn sometime. So that's what we're trying to do today.
What do you hope to accomplish? Obviously, you'd like to make it in the field, but what do you hope to accomplish over the weekend, Paul?
Well, I think we need to learn about people. There's a lot of great teams here, and to learn the rhythm of what happens. The people on my team have been with me a long time. I want to know if they like this. I can't come here if my team doesn't come with me.
You excited?
Oh, I'm more nervous than I've ever been about a car race in my whole life.
Even here?
This is it. I mean, I've raced with F1 guys, I've raced with kart guys, and I'm just scared as hell.
Best of luck.
Thanks very much.
That's a pretty frank comment right there from a very talented road course racer to Jerry Punch.
And I'm with another very talented road course racer, Ricky Rudd, who's one of the 8 different winners here at the front here at the Glen, a 2-time winner here. Ricky, your thoughts now about waiting all day and now going out to qualify with limited practice?
Well, I don't think that's as big a concern, Jerry, as it is the modifieds out here running. You know, that's a big concern for me. We go early. If I had a late draw, it wouldn't concern me, but they're on a bi-supply tire right now, so that generally means the first guys are going to go are going to probably slip and slide for a ways. So hopefully I'm back here in about 10th or 11th. It won't be as bad for me, but the practice, it's a concern because the track is quite a bit different with the new pavement than the concrete strips. We haven't quite figured it out yet.
Let me ask Ray Everdham. Ray, slide in here a second. Your car with Jeff Gordon aboard goes early as well, and you came from the modified ranks. How much will this rubber off the modifieds, the bi-supply rubber, affect the early car?
Well, it's just being it's different consistency. It's going to take a little bit. You know, I hope maybe it's only the first 7 or 8 cars to burn it off, but I think it's going to take more than that. It just makes a different grip, make the track a little bit slick. You know, when you run different divisions, that happens. You know, we do the same thing to them. You know, when we go out before them, it screws up their racetrack. So hopefully it'll burn off quick.
Ricky, before I let you go, I got to ask you, the big story is what are you going to do next year? And I've heard that maybe you've got a timetable, people talking to you about buying your team. You're going somewhere else to drive. Have you had any thoughts today about what may, anything changed at all?
Well, Jerry, I'm not really sure which way it's going to unfold. I mean, our priority is to get a sponsorship tied up on the 10-car, a good one that gives us the funding that it takes to do the job right with the correct aero program. That's our #1 priority. We sort of set a self-imposed deadline of about mid-September. We're working with that one for really many different reasons. Mid-September, late September, you're starting to buy things and get things in order for the upcoming season. We can't do that if we don't have a sponsorship. So our guys are starting to get real nervous. Do they have a future? And also, I've got some opportunities to go drive for some other teams, and I can't hold them off any farther than mid-September. So it's kind of making sense for that particular date. We're hoping that we get sponsorships, and we're moving forward. It looks pretty positive, but you never know until it's done.
We wish you the best of luck, Ricky. Keep that string going. 16 consecutive years with a win. Still looking for one in 99.
Well, we're busy. We got us a race to try to win here, and we got a work cut out for us.
Ricky Rudd, the Tide ride for it. He will be the 11th car to roll off in qualifying. And as you heard, there is some concern, guys, about some of that rubber off the NASCAR Federlite modified cars, at least for the first half dozen or so that go out.
Just like Ned warned us a few minutes ago. Let's take a look at the drivers qualified already for the Bud Shootout in Daytona in February of next year. Jeff Gordon already has racked up 7 poles in 1999. Bobby Labonte with 4, and everybody else has 1 on the list there, including Irwin, Rudd, Wallace, Stewart, Schrader, Marlin, Nemechek, and Mike Skinner. And so Bud pole qualifying has begun at last, Ned. We at one time thought it would never get here, but about 22 minutes until 6 o'clock Eastern time, Jack Baldwin goes onto the racetrack to try to become our first qualifier.
Well, there's been a lot of patience exercised here today. Jack Baldwin, an accomplished road racer, chosen to drive this car, the car of Joe Falk, here in the front here at the Glen.
Jerry Punch has more.
You know, 49-year-old Jack Baldwin, as you mentioned, is an accomplished road racer. Tried 29 career road course victories, with a number of those, 3 of those coming here in recent years, and of course a couple of poles here at Watkins International. He has run 4 times in the Busch Series car here, and he's run awfully well all 4 times. His last outing was a 4th place finish here this year, but it's his first outing in a heavier Winston Cup car. He thinks that maybe they've got a shot at getting this car in the top 25, and with a good lap, possibly in the top 10 today.
This is an 11-turn road course. There he is in turn number 10, headed for number 11, and coming out of this, he will see the checkered flag.
Boy, just wide coming off of there, Bob, all the way up almost to the fence.
Came out of there very hard, checks the checkered flag, and gets the job done. His lap is a little over 116.591 miles an hour, 75.649.
Now, according to the practice speeds we saw here earlier today, that's not very good. Jeff Gordon was the fastest at a time of 73.16, and that's about a little over 2 seconds, about 2.5 seconds slower, as a matter of fact. And we wonder how much of that is track, or how much might be of the way the car was set up, or how he got around here.
Well, here is Jeff Burton, who started 4th here last year, finished in 23rd position. His start. Fourth was his best start here last year, and his best finisher came in 1996. He was 21st.
Now, I will say, while we watched Jeff Burton make his qualifying run, that Jack Baldwin was very close to the time that he turned in practice here earlier today. So maybe the racetrack is okay, or that rubber put down with modified cars not hurting it too much. We'll see as several other cars qualify.
Through the inner loop, Jeff Burton ended up 16th overall in the dry practice session that we had this afternoon. He clocked in a 119.317 mile-an-hour lap. Jeff Burton did win the pole in California earlier this year because of the rain cancellation of first-round qualifying. Here he is in turn number 10.
Heading down for that final turn, back to the checker flag.
And Jeff Burton's lap is considerably faster than our first qualifier.
But it's not as fast as he practiced. 74.421 seconds, 118.515 miles an hour. And he had practiced at 119 plus miles per hour.
Next up will be Chad Little, who we talked with during our rain delay a little bit earlier. Best start here, Watkins Glen, came back in 1991. He was 23rd. Jerry is with Rick Mast, who awaits his turn at qualifying.
And one of only two drivers, along with Bobby Labonte, it doesn't have a DNF thus far in 20 starts this year. Great effort by Rick Mast. Rick, we're seeing the speeds down quite a bit from practice this morning. You think it's the modified rubber or just the weight?
Yeah, you know what? You get the luck of the draw means so much in qualifying. Today, drawing early wasn't a big deal. I mean, the modified cars with the bispide rubber, when they lay that down on the racetrack, the radios we use, they just don't adhere to it right, you know. And, after a few cars run, it'll get a little bit better. The sun's out right now. So if the cloud comes back over, it'll help the guys behind us even more. But we'll be all right.
All right, Rick Mast is 3 cars away from going. And also a point, guys, we began qualifying shortly after 5:30 Eastern time. It takes an hour and 48 minutes, according to NASCAR, to qualify these cars, which means the guys that go near 7 o'clock are going to have a lot cooler racetrack to drive on.
Indeed, here's Chad Little going through turn number 9. Coming off a disappointing effort at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway last week in the Brickyard 400. He crashed and finished in last position. So Chad trying to come back and turn in a good run here at Watkins Glen. He did have a good run last year, started back in 38th position and drove all the way to 16th. Little out of turn number 11. He takes the checkered flag, and 3 have qualified for the Frontier at the Glen.
I believe he'll be second fastest, Bob. We'll see what shows up here on our computer. Yes, he is at 116.851 miles an hour. His elapsed time, 75.481 seconds.
Jeff Burton, the quickest so far of the 3 that have qualified to this point. Chad Little and Jack Baldwin, the other 2. Jeff Burton has completed his run. We'll talk with him and more when we come back to Watkins Glen.
Fastest, but you think someone's going to go faster?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people are going to go faster than that. That's not a bad lap for the Exide Ford. It just, right now, there's not as much grip in the racetrack. That's more than what I ran today. And I drove harder than what I ran today. I drove in the corners a little bit deeper. Driving in the corners here is always faster. You just couldn't, it didn't turn through the middle as well. And then when you try to get in the gas to try to spin the rear wheel, it's just not as much grip. Sometimes you get a good draw, sometimes you get a bad draw. Today we didn't get a good draw, but that's just the way it goes. You have good draws and bad ones.
Combination of the rain and the rubber from the modified, or do you know?
Well, it's a lot hotter right now. I mean, if it'll stay hot for the next little bit, I think everybody will be slower. The track's certainly slower now than it was, I think, and if it stays hot, it'll be slower for everybody. I just need it to stay as hot as possible because we know the rain and the modified rubber slows the track down, and generally the track will get faster, but if the sun stays out, then that'll be in my favor.
Good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Hut Strickland completes his run, and we'll give you his time and speed. Then we'll recap Derry Cope Hut at 1:14.969, 76.716 seconds, and Derry Cope qualified while we were away, Ned.
And he qualified at 116.699 with the lapse time of 75.7 5.79 seconds.
So 5 have clocked in here in this rain-delayed qualifying session at Watkins Glen. And next up is going to be Rick Mast in the Team Woody Ford Taurus.
Very colorful car.
Universal Studios, the sponsor on this car. And Jerry is standing by with Steve Park, who's scheduled to be 10th out. Jerry?
Well, New York native Steve Park owes a lot to this racetrack. It was here that Dale Earnhardt Sr. first saw him and caught his eye because of watching him sit on the pole in a modified in the truck. And Steve, great racetrack for you. From what I saw in practice, you are close to the top 10 overall in speed.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, these guys after that little twirling act at Sonoma, the guys back at the shop on this Pennzoil team built me another brand new race car, and they've done a great job. The car's been running good. It's been pretty consistent. If we can fight off some of this rain and get qualifying in for everybody, I think it'll be great. And this place is in my home state of New York, and we'd like to get a good run in here, Joe.
Probably as comfortable at this track as anywhere you've been in a Winston Cup car?
Well, I think so, because really a lot of the Winston Cup tracks I've only been to once or twice before, and here I had the opportunity to run in the Featherlight Modified Series and the Busch North Series, so I've been able to participate in a lot of races here, so at least when we come to Watkins Glen and I get out on a racetrack, it seems like a familiar place.
Hey, good luck in qualifying.
All right, thank you.
Steve Park's team, a lot of guys predicting a top 10 qualifying run here today.
And not a bad effort at all from Rick Mast.
No, 75.033 seconds, 117.548. Puts him in second place behind Jeff Burton at the moment.
On the racetrack at the moment is Dale Earnhardt. Now, this was Dale a little bit earlier today. Seems like an eternity ago, but that was during the dry practice session that they had early this afternoon. Earnhardt off course in corner number 10, but here he is trying to win his 4th pole here at the Glen. And the last time, as a matter of fact, he was on the pole for a NASCAR Winston Cup race was here in 1996.
And he was really hurting that day. He had injured himself and set a track record that still stands.
And Bill is with Chad Little, who, because of Rick Mast, is now 3rd quick.
Tell me about your lap.
It wasn't a bad lap. I messed up turn 6, to be honest with you. I left too much on the table. I've been having problems with it, and I was determined not to overdrive it. Seeing what happens when you do overdrive that corner, and I approached it too cautiously and killed my momentum through the turn. Other than that, the car felt good. Brakes were fine, motor ran well, but just that corner right there is going to end up haunting us for the day.
All right, good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Dale Earnhardt is making his 600 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup starts, 627th overall. 600 straight here today. How's he doing, Ned?
Good. He's got a good lap going. If he gets through this corner okay, he should be at the man at the top of the heap.
Came out of it very nicely, stayed off the rumble strips up there, and the clock stops, and did he knock Jeff Burton off the pole?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Good lap, 119.598 miles an hour, 73.747 seconds. And that's close to a track record, but not quite.
120.733 is the track record. Terry Labonte will be next up. Earnhardt was only 22nd fastest during the practice session earlier at 118.8. So he indeed picked it up nicely on his official run. Here's Terry Labonte, a 2-time pole sitter at the Glen.
Terry is one of the smoothest drivers in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, and that's what it takes to get around a road course. You have to be aggressive and smooth. He's both.
Terry has never won here at Watkins Glen. However, he has been a second on 2 different occasions, most recently in 1996. Last year, he started 12th and finished 40th at Sears Point earlier this year. He was 25th on the grid and 29th at the drop of the checkered flag. This is one of the drivers that we always look to in the early days of road racing in NASCAR, who could always be a threat on a road course, and he's certainly capable of doing that now, but just has not had very good luck on road courses recently.
Well, he hasn't had, and sometimes you wonder if that's car, because he still can drive the race car around, just hasn't been able to get it quite worked out the way that he would like. He has a good lap going right here, Bob. Almost on par with Dale Earnhardt when he came into turn 10. Let's see here as it gets the checkered flag. how he's going to be. He's going to be in there pretty close, maybe even surpassing Earnhardt.
Yes! So Earnhardt wasn't on the pole very long. Labonte knocks him off.
His elapsed time, 73.602 seconds, 119.834 miles an hour.
Good run for Terry Labonte. And next up will be Jeff Gordon, who is trying for a 5th straight win on a road course. That is including, of course, Sears Point and here at Watkins Glen. Jeff Gordon takes the green flag, and Bill Weber's with Dale Earnhardt.
Well, I tried to get you on while you're still on the pole, but Terry bumped you off. How was your lap?
Better than practice. I left a lot out there. The car was good, and I think we're just a little bit off on the transmission, more than I'm used to. It's a little different what I'm used to. It was good, but I just didn't carry enough speed in some of the corners I think I should have carried. I was really weighing it down too much. I think one of them was that interloop. I think it could have been better there. It could have been better in one. Who knows? You know, it might have been off if I'd have went better. So we'll see where we end up. I think, you know, the 24 is going to be awful fast. The 5's already beat us a little bit. But if we just hang around there in the top 10, 15, we'd be happy.
And the mustache is looking good, too.
It's coming out.
Jeff Gordon started on the pole last year and wound up in victory lane. He's coming out of turn number 9.
Boy, he attacks those corners. He is aggressive when it comes to qualifying. He's aggressive anytime for that matter, but when it comes to qualifying in particular, that's why he's got 7 poles already this year.
And he was the fastest in the practice today at 121.099.
And he's the fastest at my checkpoint coming into turn 10 over there. Here he comes off turn 11 for the checkered flag.
And so are we going to have 3 consecutive pole sitters here, provisional pole sitters. Earnhardt was. Labonte knocked him off. And now Jeff Gordon knocks Terry Labonte off the provisional pole and ends up just shy of a track record, 120.632. 73.115. Dale Earnhardt still holds a track record at 120.733. Dale Jarrett, the current points leader in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, will be out soon to qualify for the Frontier at the Glen. Stay with us. More qualifying in a moment. Falls into 5th position with 10 having taken time so far, led by Jeff Gordon at 120.632. We have been rain delayed here this afternoon, so only 10 qualifiers so far. We're live. Here's Bill Weber.
With Terry Labonte, you happy with that?
Well, I think it's a pretty decent lap there. I think it's going to get us a pretty decent spot, hopefully. Hopefully it'll be around 10th or so, but the car was good. I didn't really run hard enough in turn 1. I went through there like way too slow, I thought, and tried to make up for it everywhere else, but it was still a okay run, but I think I left 2 or 3 tenths out there at least.
Some great runs here, but not the big one you'd always hope for.
Man, we've come close here a lot of times. We're looking forward to the race on Sunday. I think we've got a great car here, and these guys are doing a great job working on it. And you know, this would be a good place for us to win. We've run good here in the past. We've come close a bunch of times. Same car we had here last year and the year before, so we kind of saved it for this one.
We'll be watching.
Thanks.
Ricky Rudd was 25th fastest in practice today, 118.493. Here's the checkered flag. Ricky becomes our 11th qualifier of the afternoon. And Ned says, what, about 4th,
about
maybe?
4th, I believe. That's exactly where he falls in.
Wow, very nice.
74.198 seconds, 118.871 miles an hour.
And Jerry punches with the points leader.
Indeed, our current Winston Cup points leader and most recent winner in the Brickyard 400, Dale Jarrett. And although Dale has never won on a road course, Dale, that doesn't indicate how well you've run. You've run awfully well here and at Sears Point recently.
We have run better, and I think a lot of that has to do with our equipment. I think anybody that runs well here has really good equipment, all the right brakes and the chassis setups and things. And we came here and tested, and hopefully that'll pay off for us.
How important is qualifying for you, where you start here on Sunday?
I think it's pretty important. I think that has a lot to do with where you finish, so that it doesn't make you make decisions that you don't want to on Sunday, maybe, and calculated risk. So we think that starting up front, or at least somewhere in the top 10, is a good starting spot and kind of lets you run the race you want to.
Good luck in qualifying.
Okay, thanks.
Dale Jarrett, this car has been on the outside front row twice in the last 3 years here in qualifying. Let's check in with Bill.
With Jeff Gordon, the provisional pole sitter, would you classify that as an aggressive run?
It was pretty aggressive. I guess it was too aggressive because I missed the last turn a little bit. So, you know, it felt pretty good. I could tell the track didn't have quite as much grip as what we had earlier. I was expecting to run well into the minute 12 range, and we were in a 13-1. So I think we left some room because it was a great lap except for that last corner. I totally missed the last corner.
So you were thinking track record.
I don't know. What's the track record?
Earnhardt has it, and it's you're close to it, but you didn't break.
Well, we were just trying to go as fast as we could. You know, we have a great car. I tell you, these guys on this DuPont Chevrolet have done an excellent job preparing cars for me all year, but especially here for the road course. And I know we've got a car capable of winning here. I just hope that we can stay up towards the front, maybe even on the pole.
Earnhardt's record was a 73.054, so you were in the neighborhood.
Oh, man, I wish somebody would have told me that.
I'll go again?
I'd like to go again.
Okay, we'll see if we can work that out.
I'll go on the same tires even.
Kyle Petty ends up 5th at 74.274, a 118.749. Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, and Dale Earnhardt, your fastest 3 qualifiers at Watkins Glen International. Next up will be John Andretti to qualify for the Frontier at the Glen. While we were away, Michael Waltrip qualified.
In a very good run for him. 4th place so far for Michael, 73.927 seconds, 119.307.
Jerry Punch standing by with Rusty Wallace.
Well, he was the fastest on the wet weather tires and second fastest on the dry tires. And Rusty, can you beat a 73.115? You did in practice this morning.
Well, this morning I ran a 13.07. Gordon ran an 80. And he didn't run as quick this end as he didn't practice, so I got a shot at it. I had a shot at it before that also.
Your program the second half of the year, the first half of the year was awfully good, but everyone seems so excited about coming on late in the season this year.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know why we always seem like we're a second half team. We won our race last year in the second half and ran really strong. I just hope that all the mistakes we made in the first half, we've learned from our mistakes. We won't have that problem in the second half.
They'll get them in qualifying.
Thanks a lot.
Rusty Wallace, the winningest active driver in road course racing in NASCAR with 6 career victories on 3 different road courses.
Here's John Andretti taking the checkered flag, becoming our 14th qualifier for the day.
He's got himself a pretty good lap here, Bob. In fact, a good lap. He's in 4th position at 119.394. His elapsed time, 73.873 seconds.
Coming up next here in our qualifying is going to be Jimmy Spencer. Earlier today, in fact, very early in the practice session, he was coming through corner number 11. Car got a little bit sideways, and all was well, but Spencer now has the money on the line here. His best start here at Watkins Glen was 5th back in '98.
Not necessarily known as a road course racer, but he finished 5th at Sears Point just a little while ago.
And he was 8th fastest in the practice today, Ned. So keep an eye on Jimmy. He clocked a 119.855 in his practice this morning and this afternoon.
Yeah, he might, when I said not necessarily known for road racing, that he might change that. Certainly his efforts this year would indicate how much progress he has made.
Jimmy, of course, from Berwick, Pennsylvania, grew up driving the modifieds. We go down to Jerry Punch.
Standing with Bobby Labonte. Bobby, it's sort of deja vu all over again for you. The same thing happened last year at Watkins Glen with the car in practice?
As far as tearing one up and having to go to a backup car, yeah. Not the same problem, but yeah, the same scenario. So we'll just have to see what we can do today, get it qualified and practice it tomorrow and get ready for the race.
I might explain to the folks who didn't see early on, but in the early practice session, a brake caliper exploded on the right rear of the car.
Left rear of the car, actually, and to defend the brake rotor, people, you know, we don't know what could have happened or what caused it yet. We ain't got all the pieces back yet, but something did explode back there in the left rear and came through the car and blew out the left rear tire. And I had the motor, I don't know if I shut it off or not. I tried to. I don't know if I did or not, but tried to gear it down before I got to the last corner down there, turn 5 or whatever. And ended up making a right-hand turn, the left rear tire being cut down on it, spun out and got in the foam out there. So could have been a lot worse because it happened at the fastest part of the racetrack and got slowed down some, but not enough.
I know you didn't have much time in this car. You got 1 lap of practice. Any idea what you might be able to? Can you get in the top 25?
No, I doubt it. I mean, seriously, I doubt it. My lack of road racing experience, the lack of time today on a racetrack, you know, probably will not do very good today. So we just want to get in a good, safe lap and go from there.
Hey, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, Jimmy Spencer, how about that lap for Jimmy?
Yeah, he was a little bit slower than he practiced at, but still turned in the third best of the day at 119.621. Here comes Dale Jarrett onto Watkins Glen for his qualifying effort. Jarrett has never been on the pole here at Watkins Glen. He started second both in 96 and 97, and his best finish here came in 91 and 98, fifth.
And a trivia question, Bob. Who were the drivers who beat him those 2 years? We already established that Dale Earnhardt set the track record, and that was one driver who beat him. The other one might take a little bit of thinking.
Right off the top of my head, I can't think.
Todd Bodine.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he surprised the world when he came here, and it was just sort of an independent effort.
He just hit an animal that was going across the racetrack. I don't know whether that's going to affect him. Let's hope not.
Well, he hit a turtle down at Daytona and won the race.
Right. Maybe it's a good omen when he hits something on the track. Jarrett has been leading the points since Richmond in May. And in fact, he has the biggest points lead since Dale Earnhardt led over him by 259 points in 1993. Checkered flag. Is he on the pole now?
No, not on the pole, but he should be second, I believe.
Yep, you're right.
119.936 miles an hour, 73.539 seconds.
So now on the front row, at least the provisional front row, we have Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett with Labonte and Spencer third and fourth. After 20 of 34 races in the Winston Cup Series for 1999, DJ has a 274-point margin on Mark Martin. We'll be right back. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Jerry Punch, Bill Weber back at Watkins Glen International. We had rain here earlier today. It delayed qualifying until about 22 minutes until 6. So we've only been qualifying about a half hour. 17 so far have clocked in. Joe Nemechek is on the track right now. Ted Christopher in car number 13 was the most recent to qualify. Ned, how'd he do?
Not bad. 11th, 74.590 seconds, 118.246 miles an hour.
There's the rundown of all 17 who have qualified. Bill is with fourth fastest Jimmy Spencer.
Jimmy, you had a new car at Sears Point. You're a little more aggressive on the racetrack, and it's paying off.
It is, Bill. You know, same car we had at Sears Point. We ran in the top 5 with it. And I think it's going to be a good qualifying run. Hopefully it'll hang around, make the top 10, but I don't know if it will. There's a lot of good cars coming. The track's cooling down, but I think it'll be in first round. That's important for the guys. They've worked hard, and, you know, Sunday's another story, but Bembro's got some great brakes on the car, and I finally believe they will stop it, you know, and that's worked at Sonoma, it's worked here, so hopefully we'll have a good day on Sunday.
Keep your eye on Spencer on Sunday. Fourth for Joe Nemechek.
Not a bad run at all, Ned.
73.646 seconds, 119.762. Fourth place right now for Joe Nemechek.
Coming up to take the green flag is the 66 car of Darrell Waltrip. The Victory Tour 2000 next year for Darrell will be his final year of competition. Wants desperately to get a win before he hangs up the helmet. He's never been on the pole here at Watkins Glen. He has been close, started second in 86, and he's been close to victory lane. He also finished second in 86. Bill is caught up with Dale Jarrett.
A big smile, a good lap.
Pretty good lap, yeah. As it turned out, eventful things. I didn't realize. It's hard enough when you got 11 corners and then things running out in front of you. You start wondering whether you dodge it or keep going. But pretty good lap. I actually got slowed down going into the inner loop a little too much. I could have probably carried a little more speed there, but made it all the corners, and that'll get us a decent starting spot. There's some guys that'll run a good bit quicker than that probably, but we'll be okay.
That's an unfortunate incident, but there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I'm sure the animal activists out there are going to be after Dale Jarrett, but I'll assure you there's nothing I'm trying to do. I'm not aiming at them. They're just not giving me much choice.
Well, you got a bird right at Daytona when you won the 500. You got a turtle, too?
You got a turtle, yeah, so we're 2 for 2 with that. Yeah, and I hate that they have to be a sacrifice for us to win races, but maybe it'll work for us here.
Well, Rusty's fired up. He says that he's got to go fast enough now to save that woodchuck. Just like
yeah, exactly. And I'm sure he can.
Darrell Waltrip has taken the checkered flag.
And he's in 7th place, Bob. Great lap for him. 119.532, 73.788 seconds. BW turning it on.
They won't get another provisional until Darlington, so he still has to qualify his way into the field, and with that, he's going to do it rather easily.
Yes, he will need no provisional here for this race.
Well, let's see if indeed Rusty Wallace can save the wood check and go as fast as he needs to go.
He's going to give it every effort. You can rest assured of that.
He won this race back in 1987. He won it again in 1989. Never a pole sitter, as you saw, but he has started second here on 2 different occasions. And Rusty in 1999 has posted 10 top 10 qualifying efforts, including 1 Bud pole. That, of course, was at Bristol, where he also won the race. Good run last week at the Brickyard. He started 17th, drove all the way to an 8th place finish. And he also had a good run at Sears Point, the other Winston Cup road course race. He started 4th at Sears Point and finished in 4th place.
Driving her aggressive, as we expected him to do. Another checkpoint going into the inner loop over there. He was a little bit off of where Jeff Gordon was going into that turn. Let's see where he is now as he comes through our checkpoint up here. He's fast. He's very fast. He's the fastest one I've clocked through there, so let's see.
We may have a new provisional pole sitter, huh? Is Rusty Wallace going to knock Jeff Gordon off the pole? Ned shaking his head. Yes, the official word is... yes!
New track record.
Yes, it is.
72.752 seconds, 121.234 miles an hour. What a run.
Excellent effort for Rusty Wallace. A new track record, and we have a new provisional pole sitter. 20 qualified so far. We've got 5 more spots to fill here today, and the next out to try is going to be Bobby Labonte. But this is what happened to Bobby earlier today in practice. Something broke on the left rear of the car. He went hard into the styrofoam and tires. That was in turn number 9. The car, as you can see, was heavily damaged, but Bobby was able to get out of it, walk to the ambulance. But the survey of the damage, they were looking there at the right rear to try to determine what happened, and there was even some styrofoam from those barriers that they run into stuck in the race car itself. Quickly, they readied the backup car to prepare and get it ready for qualifying, and he's only had just limited time, in fact, 1 lap in this car, but Labonte will do his best.
He will, and it'll be an amazing feat if he can get in the top 25 here in this run. He didn't think he could do it when he was interviewed a little bit earlier, but he's usually pretty modest.
It was a 115.5 mile-an-hour lap, his hot lap in this car. So he has a long way to go, but Bobby Labonte can get the job done.
He's on track to have a good lap, not a pole-winning lap, Bob, but I don't think he expected that. Just to get in the top 25, and he's going to be there for the time being. In fact, he's probably going to be in the top 10. Let's see where this thing shakes out.
In the backup car, Bobby Labonte qualifies close. He drops down to 11.
119.117. His time, 74.05 seconds.
So Rusty Wallace has driven faster than anyone else so far in qualifying. We'll talk to him when we come back to Kendall qualifying day for the Bud Pole in Watkins Glen.
Hi, I'm Jeff Burton with the
checkered flag moments ago. Jerry Nadeau, and he had a good run. It'll put him up in the 3rd spot at the moment. And as we look at the other qualifiers that we've had so far, with Hut Strickland the slowest right now, Bill is with the provisional pole sitter, Rusty Wallace.
An outstanding lap, new track record for you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I wish it was about the 40th car that went out that did that, me, but now I got to sit here and wait for 25 cars to go out and see if it'll hold up. But it was a great run. The car handled great. The motor was strong.
You love concrete.
I love concrete. I love going to Bristol on that concrete track, and I love going to Dover on concrete. And you hit the concrete here, and you got a lot more grip, and I like it a lot.
Is that going to stand up, Rusty?
Well, I'm worried about Mark Martin and Ron Fellows. He's running real good, I guess. So there's 2 or 3 guys that can be concerned about, but if I was in a 13-second bracket or in a high 12s, it'd be one thing, but I got it pretty far down in a 12-second bracket, so we'll see what happens.
Were you able to save the woodchuck, Rusty?
I tell you what, that old hot rod run pretty quick. If I didn't go back and save that woodchuck, I don't know who can.
Rusty Wallace looking for his second pole and his second win of the season. Let's check in with his brother. Here's Jerry.
All right, Kenny Wallace, 6th quickest overall in practice. Kenny, can you make it an all-Wallace front row? Brother Rusty's giving us something to shoot at for the pole.
Well, I've got an awfully good car, you know, and you've got to be aggressive here, but not too aggressive. So I was thinking about that when I was walking down. Maybe me and him can both be on the front row, but that's a really good lap Rusty put down. So my car is really the best thing I've ever had here at Watkins Glen. So if I do the right job, I can do it.
How much can you afford to attack? A lot of guys standing watching these laps on the big screen saying, I got to go after it. Then one of those was your brother Rusty who really attacked that lap.
Well, I think the better your car handles, the more confidence you have and the more you can attack it. And, it's a deal where, you just got to depend where your team's, think about where your team's at in the points. What do you have to lose if because if you're off course, it's over. So I'm going after it. I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm going to go to my marker still, try to pick up the gas a little bit earlier.
Hey, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, back upstairs, guys.
Boy, Boris Said has turned in a good run. Let's see where he falls in. Second, he knocks Jeff Gordon off the front row. Boris Said.
At 120.915 miles an hour, he broke the old track record, 72.944 seconds.
And it also bumped Jerry Nadeau down to 4th quick, Bill.
Well, he was smiling a minute ago. Are you still smiling?
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good run. I screwed up turn 1 a little bit. Got it in a little bit hot, and the car got a little tight. But guys did a good job. We didn't get a lot of laps here today because of the rain, and I think that's pretty good. If we can just get in the first 4 or 5 rows, we'll be in good shape Sunday.
You have high expectations for this weekend, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty excited, I tell you. These guys, last year we had a good run. We ran in the top 5, and we had a problem with the transmission midway through the race, but we ended up finishing 15th. If we can keep everything underneath us this weekend, we should have a good run.
Okay, keep your eye on Jerry Nadeau and his co-driver, George Jetson, on Sunday.
Okay. Jeremy Mayfield is on the track, going through the inner loop as he will be our 24th qualifier.
He had a good time going into the inner loop there, Bob. Better than many that we have clocked.
He ended up 19th quickest in the practice session at 119.040.
Where he stacks up when he comes through turn 10 over here. We'll have an idea of what he's going to be like in the checker flag. Of course, he's still got a difficult part of the track, too, and he's got a good lap going. Not pole.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Oh, that's
keep it off the wall, I hope. Oh, nice job, Jerry.
Great job. And he would have been right there in the top 5 had that not have happened.
As it turns out, he spins in turn number 11, and so he's looking at a second-round qualifying effort tomorrow. But
yeah, he was so close to being in the top 5, and now, as you say, he'll have to go second-round qualifying. Because he is the slowest, 105.769 miles an hour.
But he kept the car off the wall. That's the good thing. And flat spotted the tires maybe, but had no sheet metal damage. Here it is in replay as he came through turn number 11.
Looks like he gets through there, okay. Then gets in there, two minutes getting in there. It's fast. Notice he keeps that accelerator going, spins it on around, and keeps it off the wall. Great job.
Kenny Irwin had a problem earlier in the practice session. His car was into the styrofoam and the tires at just about the same area that Bobby Labonte went into. As you can see, extensive right side damage on the car, but they have decided that since it was cosmetic, they will qualify it, and so here is Kenny Irwin. Bill Weber is with Boris Said, who is second quick.
Well, when you climbed out of the car, I thought you won the race. I mean, there were a lot of people hugging, a lot of handshakes down here. That's outstanding.
It felt like it. I mean, it's hard to explain to people how much pressure it is to try to make one of these things. And, I mean, this whole Federated Auto Parts crew has really been behind me. And Signature Engines built us a really good motor. And we got a lot of people from Federated Auto Parts coming. And we just had to make this Sport Taurus fast. And it was really good today. And I'm glad that lap's over. I can't wait to race now.
Tell me about it.
I mean, it was a decent lap. I left a little on the table, but, you know, all day long, if it's going to rain or if it isn't going to rain, and, you know, if it rained, we were going home because we have no points. So, I mean, that's just,
I mean, I can't even explain how much that plays on the driver's mind. And so I just wanted to make sure. Ernie told me before I go, he goes, don't do anything dumb. You'll get in the show. And but I'm a driver. Once I get out there, I went through. They asked us pretty easy, and I said, you know what, I got to get going. And I started pushing it, and the wild side came out in me. But I got a lot of people from Federated Auto Parts coming, and Tim Kerrigan at Red Line Oil, thanks for all the golf. I promised I'd tell him that. He's been tuning me up.
Congratulations. Thanks. Had a really disappointing weekend at Sears Point. They blew engines. They blew him up, but he came here and has an outstanding qualifying run for Boris Said.
Coming up next on the racetrack is Ernie Irvin. Kenny Irwin was the most recent to qualify. He ended up 17th at a 118.418, 74.482 seconds. And so now the field is full of first-round qualifiers. The first to be bumped, and of course he will be bumped, is Jeremy Mayfield.
As that spin sitting down, you see his speed, as we look at the top 25 there, is considerably lower than others, and pretty good considering the fact that he made a 360 coming off the turn 11. He's a good road racer.
Here at Watkins Glen, his 1991 start was his best. Third, his 1991 finish was his best. He won the race. At Sears Point earlier this year, didn't have a very good run. Started back in 40th position and finished 30th. Also a bit of a disappointment last week in Indy, where in previous years he has run so well, but in this 1999 edition of the Brickyard, he took a provisional and ended up in 24th spot.
His time is not going to be what he wants, Bob. Not bad. He'll certainly bump Jeremy Mayfield, and it looks like he'll wind up in the middle of the field here somewhere. Well, 19th at 117.878, 74.823 seconds.
So Jeremy Mayfield has been bumped, and now on the bubble is Hut Strickland as we take another break and return with more Kendall qualifying day for the Bud Pole in a moment. Qualifier here at Watkins Glen, Dave Marcus, 26th fastest, 112.645, a 78.299 second lap, so he did not make the top 25. Coming up next is Kenny Wallace, and Kenny was quick in the practice earlier today. He ended up as the 6th fastest overall at 120.003, so let's see what he can do when the chips are down.
He's a good qualifier.
Start here at Watkins Glen came last year, 19th, and his best finish was 9th back in 1993.
He'd like to join his brother on the front row. He'll have to turn an awfully good lap.
Rusty the best at 121.234. Ben Boris said, Jeff Gordon, and Jerry Nadeau. Here he is coming through corner number 11.
I don't think he's on track to sit on the front row, Bob.
Checkered flag drops. Kenny Wallace is qualified. Did he make the top 25 becomes the question.
Yeah, he did that. There she goes down to 14th. 119.033, 74.097 seconds. That'd be a little disappointing for him, because he had definitely run better than that in practice.
Indeed he had. All right, down to Bill Weber, who's with Bobby Labonte.
And Bobby Labonte talking over his qualifying lap with several people back here in the garage, and that was a good lap for you and an outstanding effort for your team to get you to that point.
Well, it was a great effort on the guys. I mean, they did a real good job. It's like deja vu. Last year we did the same thing, basically. So next year we're going to unload our backup car first and have a primary car in the truck. But it was a good job on their part. I mean, we definitely didn't need that. And you really didn't get a lap on the racetrack till qualifying, because we're kind of working up to it. We had a couple things we were doing, and rained earlier. So, you know, it's been kind of one of those days. I'm glad we got our stuff over with right now.
So is that a lot of self-confidence, knowing you can do it in that kind of situation when you haven't had an opportunity to really test that car?
Well, that car we raced here last year, and probably the year before, and the year before that. So it's been raced a lot on a road course. But, you know, it's just basically, you know, knowing when the car is going to stop, brake-wise and downshifting-wise, that I didn't get to do today, that, you know, didn't get in the rhythm. And, you know, sitting there thinking about it, you can think about it all you want until you get out there, you don't know what you're going to do. And, I mean, just, it goes back to, you know, when the car was, when it was stopping, I was stopping. When I was downshifting, it was there to do it. And when it was on the gas, it went. So, I mean, that made it feel a whole lot better. When I left pit road, I felt better, you know, knowing that the car was going to perform like, you know, like it always does.
Great job. We'll see you Sunday.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Jack Baldwin now on the bubble at the bottom of your screen as Bill Elliott, who's been close here in terms of a pole and a win, comes down to take the checkered flag. Started second in 95, finished third in 88, and his qualifying lap results in a 5th place.
119.976. 73.515 seconds. Good effort for Bill Elliott.
And so Baldwin has been bumped, and now on the bubble is Derek Cope. He's the 25th fastest qualifier so far. Ron Fellows coming up when we come back. Bickle just completing his qualifying run, taking the checkered flag while we were away. Robert Presley turned in the 23rd fastest lap at 117.603, a 74.998. And Rich Bickle is 19th.
And not bad, Bob, considering he really messed up going into turn 1. 74.473, 118.432 miles an hour.
So that bumps Chad Little, and now we have Rick Mast on the bubble as Rich Bickle pulls off of the racetrack. And here's what you were talking about, Ned. Going down into turn number 1.
You see how wiggly the car gets? He got in a little bit too fast and had to really get on the brakes. And you got to hit those brakes before you start making that turn. And then as a result, when he comes off the turn, we'll watch him. He doesn't get up there on the banking as high as others do. He didn't have the speed to do that coming off there. So he turned a very good lap considering that.
Well, veteran road racer Boris said his second quick. Can Ron Fellows better that? Let's talk to him, Jerry.
Well, Bob, the Canadian a year ago, remember, sat on the outside front row here, and this year he has 2 poles, one in the Craftsman Trucks where he went on to win, and then also in the Busch Series where he went on to finish second. Now, Ron, you haven't had a lot of practice today. You've had a little problem.
Yeah, we've had a lot of problems. We haven't got any laps really in practice. We did our first attempt and broke an input shaft, and I think that hurt the engine and buzzed the motor because we went back out after we changed the transmission and lost the motor on our next attempt to get a time lap. But you know, we just went back to our notes from when we tested here, and you know, Brian Patty's a pretty sharp guy, so we'll just do our best lap. It's not like we haven't been around here before.
Hey, good luck in qualifying.
Thanks, Jerry.
Hey, guys, when he tested, Dale Jarrett was here, Jeff Gordon was here, and he was the quickest of all the cars that were here on this road course. Let's check in with Bill.
Well, as a weather forecaster, you're a heck of a qualifier.
Yeah, you know, obviously weather's not my area of expertise, but man, let me tell you about road racing. Now, you put
stand back.
You put the camera in the car. You put the camera in DW's car, and you watch the footwork. I mean, it's tough to brake, tough to clutch, tough to. I get these feet turned this way. I get this turned this way. I got my feet a little different than everybody else. Mine are turned this way. This one's going over here, and this one's going over here. I don't know how come it works that way, but that's called heel and toe, and I didn't ever learn it the right way, I guess.
Did you hit all 11? You hit all 11 turns?
I did good. I missed this last one right here, but it didn't matter. It was a little short turn anyway, and I just smoked up the left front tire, right front tire. Hey, do you know what today is? Friday 13th, right?
Yeah.
You know what Sunday is?
Yeah, it's the 50th. Race day.
You know how many years DW's been married to the little redheaded sitting home right there?
You tell me.
30 years come Sunday.
Whoa.
Happy anniversary, honey.
And they say you're a champion. She's a champion.
She is the best, I'm telling you.
She'll be watching you race here on Sunday.
She will. Her and Sarah and Jessica will be sitting right there saying, "Go DW."
Great lap. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah, no kidding. 30-year anniversary, huh, Sunday. Congratulations, Daryl and Stevie. Okay, David Green is next up to get into the field, and Ted Musgrave just qualified, and he put himself on the bubble, Ned.
Yes, he did, at 117.556 miles an hour, 75.028. So you got to get in that 74-second bracket if you're going to get in the top 25. David Green had a great qualifying run last weekend at Indianapolis.
It was his best start ever in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Started third, ended up finishing in 20th spot. But David Green showed him how during qualifying in the Kodiak Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Here's the time and speed report on David Green. He is in the top 25.
Yes. 21st, 118.286, 74.565 seconds for David.
That bumps Ted Musgrave and puts Robert Presley now on the bubble at 117.603. Rusty Wallace is still on the provisional pole. Back in a moment.
Let's go.
Dad, can I?
He died for Taurus, failed to make the top 25. He clocked in 28th at 116.896, 75.452. Jerry's with Mike Skinner.
Well, it was fourth quickest in practice, but I still remember that impressive performance a year ago where you nearly won this thing last year, Mike. Came home in third place. Do you have something for the front row today?
I don't know if we do or not. We ran awfully good in practice. We run like a 13:20 and had to pass a car over there. So, you know, 70 is going to be pretty strong, but we're going to do the best job we can with our low Chevrolet and just try to get us a good, solid qualifying run in here and see what comes out of it.
Brand new road race car for Mike Skinner. A lot of people here think he's got a shot at least the front 2 rows.
All right, and Elliott Sadler is on the racetrack, and Bill Weber is with another Bill. Bill?
And if you think that was a fast lap, you got an appearance to go do, so you got to make another fast lap. But tell me about the one you ran here.
Yeah, I'm done 40 minutes late, so I'm doing kind of a bad day. But, you know, I guess to get through Friday the 13th and all the adversities that all the team faced today, you know, coming out, running in the rain a little bit, and then deciding, you know, we're going to scrap it, try to run just a few minutes of practice, and then go into qualifying, into shower in between. You know, I think it bit a few of the cars at the first of qualifying that had to go out on the you know, totally green racetrack. But I had a good run. I was very pleased with where we were at. You know, I just wanted to stay smooth and run around the racetrack. And I'm very pleased. You know, the main thing is just get us a good toehold on where we need to be and run good Sunday afternoon.
Okay, hope your next lap's a good one, too.
I hope about 100 of them's good.
Elliott Sadler just barely in the top 25. He did bump Robert Presley. Steve Park now on the bubble. Sadler with a 117.847. Wally Dallenbach and others coming up. Eastern time, and we are live at the Glen qualifying for the Bud Pole on Kendall qualifying day at Watkins Glen. We were delayed greatly by rain earlier today. Sterling Marlin, as you saw, just qualified 14th, 119.213, 73.985 seconds. He bumped Steve Park back into the second echelon, and now on the bubble is Elliott Sadler. And here is road racing specialist that we talked to just a few moments ago, Ron Fellows, who started second here last year in the number 96 Caterpillar Chevy and finished 42nd.
Going into this point right there, Bob, he's got a good lap going. Now, he's only about halfway through his lap as he went into that turn.
Had some good runs here at Watkins Glen in other types of racing equipment. He won the truck race, and he finished second in the Busch Series event. So Ron Fellows is somebody to be reckoned with. He's on the straightaway between turns 9 and 10. There you see the top 25. Sadler is the 25th fastest at the moment, with Ernie Irvin 24th, and then Ted Christopher. Out of the other end, it's Rusty Wallace. Has he got a pole going here?
Maybe not a pole, but he's got an awfully good lap going.
Ron Fellows takes the checkered flag and becomes our 37th qualifier of the day. And he's 5th.
73.489 seconds, 120.018 miles an hour. Good lap. For the problems that they've had today that he told us about there during the interview.
Now Ernie Irvin goes to the bubble as the next out on the racetrack will be Mike Skinner. Skinner had a great run here last year, started 23rd and finished in 3rd position. Had a good run at Indianapolis last week, starting 6th and finishing 12th. He remains 9th in the point standings going into this 21st event of 1999. He, of course, led the points earlier in the year.
He's got himself a pretty good lap going into the inner loop there.
Best start here at the Glen came last year, 23rd, and his best finish was also last year. He's only competed here twice, so this will be his 3rd start at Watkins Glen. There were a total of 49 cars that drew for a qualifying attempt, and we've had 37, so we got a dozen more to go here in the late afternoon in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York.
Got a good lap going, Bob, but not a pole-sitting lap. And where he winds up as he comes off and gets the checkered flag. In the top 10, I believe. We'll see.
Not quite. Close.
Yeah, 13. 119.405 miles an hour, 73.866 seconds.
Rusty Wallace on the pole right now with a new track record here at Watkins Glen. He qualified at 121.234. And Ken Schrader will be the next to take the green flag. And start the run. He's finished, started second here on two different occasions, 93 and 94. He's finished fourth as his best in 94. Jeff Bodine is a local favorite here at Watkins Glen. Let's talk with him, Jerry.
And the 1996 winner here in the front here at the Glen. Jeffrey, I saw a story this morning where you said growing up here in Chemung County that you used to sit on the top of a tree at the end of the back straightaway and watch, Formula One, watch Buck Baker and Ned and those guys in the early days. That tree still there?
That tree is still there. I think I carved my initials in it. I need to go look, see if they're still there, but yeah, we used to come up here all the time, and I mean, what a great place. It's so, you know, we all felt so good when they said we're going to have a race here, a Winston Cup race. I never thought I was going to race here, except in a snowmobile, which I did a few years ago. But we're glad we're here. I'm glad I won it here a few years ago, and I'd like to win it again.
What about your shot today? What kind of times do we see out of the power team car?
Well, we need to get in the 113s, that's for sure. The car's running good. This is a brand new car for us. We didn't come here to test, but it ran good in what little practice we got out there today. So we're just going to see what happens. I'm watching everyone on TV, watching what they're doing, trying to learn, and I'm getting pretty nervous watching them. Maybe I better get in the car and go.
Hey, good luck in qualifying, and stay out of the tree, will you?
Okay, thanks.
Bob?
Ken Schrader takes the checkered flag. Will he bump Ted Christopher into the second part of the field? And wow, he's close.
Yeah, it gets down to 24th at 74.516 seconds, 118.364. I thought he had better lap than that going.
So indeed, the 13 car of Christopher is bumped, and on the bubble now, David Green, Mark Martin, and others yet to come at the Glen. Dollenbach is next up to qualify for the Frontier at the Glen. NASCAR Winston Cup race. He is moving through the inner loop now into turn number 9. And while we were away, Brett Bodine qualified for the 27th position.
Yeah, not quite fast enough to get in the top 25. He ran 74.762 seconds, 117.974. That certainly will get him to the top 36. That's how many earns positions on time, but that will be determined until tomorrow morning in the second round qualifying.
The closest series to NASCAR Winston Cup that runs road courses regularly, of course, Trans Am. Wally came out of the Trans Am series, and so he has performed well on the road courses down through the years. Finished second here in 93 and 95. And is in the top 25.
At 21st, 74.383 seconds, 118.575, and that does bump David Green from the top 25.
And now on the bubble is Ken Schrader with a speed of 118.364 miles an hour. And taking the green flag is Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton was 30th quick in the practice at 118.229, down to Bill Weber.
With driver and car owner in a Nemco Motorsports Chevrolet with Sapco Power, Ron Fellows, you're happy, but you're disappointed at the same time. How can that be?
Well, you know, we worked hard. You know, all the guys, Brian Petty, all the guys, we worked really hard at our test, and you know, we cut a lap better than that testing. But considering what's happened today for us so far, this is pretty good, and we did beat the boss. That's no, we're solidly in, and like I said, we had a lot of problems this morning, and thanks to the Sapco guys, we got a good qualifying piece there. We're in the race.
Of the outstanding weekend you had here a few weeks ago, what are your aspirations for Sunday?
Well, you know, we always race better than we qualify, and you know, that's our first attempt. You know, Brian just went through our notes from a couple of weeks ago, and that's the setup we had for qualifying. So if we can get an hour to practice, I'm sure we can come up with a decent race setup in an hour.
What do you think, boss?
I think he did real well. I mean, he didn't make a lot of laps, so he was trying to be, he was getting the jitters. I just wanted him to have a good, smooth lap, get the car in the race, and he's got good power. Now he's got to race me tomorrow.
Good luck to both you guys.
Bobby Hamilton has just completed his run, and it's a good one. He's 10th quick, 119.731, 73.665. Bobby Hamilton in the top 10. With 42 cars qualified, next up is Ward Burton with Kenny Irwin on the bubble. And Rusty Wallace still hanging on to the provisional pole with a new track record. Here's Ward Burton, whose best start here at the Glen came in 97, 18.
It's a little high coming off of turn 2 there, but looks like he's gathered it back in pretty quickly. And the reason he got that high is because he carried a lot of speed into there.
Good run at the Brickyard last week. Started 12th, finished in 6th position. And as we heard him say earlier in an interview, quite a burden lifted off his shoulders because there were a lot of rumors that Tommy Baldwin Jr., his crew chief, was going to leave the Bill Davis team. But that now has been resolved. Tommy will stay with Ward. And so a brighter outlook for Ward Burton for the rest of this year and for 2000 and beyond.
Well, they're a driver-crew chief combination that have really hit it off with each other. They gel, they seem to think alike, and that is very important in this business. And so that was a big loyalty showing.
Here is Ward moving toward turn number 11.
He's got a lap going that'll get him in the top 25 spot. In fact, it'll get him way up in the top 25. Let's see how far when that thing starts down that pylon. Yeah, 13, 119.567. His elapsed time, 73.766 seconds.
Kenny Irwin has been bumped. Now with the bubble is Rich Bickle at 118.432 miles an hour. Jeffrey Bodine, he's coming up next to qualify before the hometown fans. Here's the green flag, and Jeffrey begins his run. Had the pole back in 1988 for the race here at the Glen, and he also won the race in 1996.
Those corners.
This is his 525th start in NASCAR Winston Cup competition for the driver from Chemung, New York. This is the Power Team Chevy, owned by Joe Bessie.
Got a good lap going up to that point.
Moving through the inner loop. Turn number 9, one of the most troublesome on the racetrack. You notice those concrete strips that have been added to all the corners here to keep them from breaking up. Heading down the long back stretch to turn number 10.
Let's see how he stacks up to my checkpoint here. Not bad. He should be up there in the middle of the pack somewhere, I believe.
That win that Jeffrey had here in 96 was his last and most recent victory in NASCAR Winston Cup competition.
I think he told someone during the interview there that he need to get in the 13-second bracket. That's a minute 13. He didn't quite do it. He's 19th at 119.138 and the elapsed time 74.032.
Rich Bickle has been bumped. Now Jeff Burton goes to the bubble. Who's up next? Well, it's Mark Martin, Jeff Burton's teammate, coming out to give it a whirl. Here's the green flag, and Mark begins his run. Valvoline is donating $2,500 to Big Brothers and Big Sisters in the Caring Hands program for every pole that Mark wins in 1999. We want to remind you that normally at about this time, in a couple of minutes, you would be seeing John Kernan and the RPM Tonight report. We're going to stay with qualifying and complete the field, and then we'll be throwing it to John Kernan for the rest of the news of the day.
Mark has a good lap at this point of his run.
He's the winningest active driver here at Watkins Glen, winning in 93, 94, 95, and he sat on the pole each of those years also. There are the 25 drivers who have successfully qualified in this rain-delayed event.
Got a good lap going, Bob. Saw a little water out of the overflow pipe there a moment ago. That didn't hurt him at all.
We only got 4 more qualifiers to go here, and Mark Martin has a good lap. Let's see where it goes. Fourth.
120.234, 73.357 seconds. I had him a little bit faster than that, but my watch is not official, so.
He bumps Jerry Nadeau back into the 5th position, but Mark puts himself on the outside of row 2 as Tony Stewart and the Home Depot Pontiac comes onto the track.
And of course, Mark bumped his teammate Jeff Burton. Now Wally Dollar back on the bubble.
Here is the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year in 1999.
Well, some races we've seen him run, he doesn't act like a rookie out there.
Remember, at Watkins Glen, he was on his first road course since he drove go-karts, and he started second, qualified second for that race, and finished in 15th position.
He's got a good lap going this time, too.
Aggressively through that interlude there.
He was very aggressive. Might have cost him a little bit of time. Got a little bit wider there than you've seen others, but there again, that's because he carried a lot of speed in there, and he didn't get off the pavement, so shouldn't have hurt him too bad.
He's got himself in the Bud Shootout for the year 2000, qualifying for the pole at Martinsville, where he eventually ended up in 20th position through turn number 11. Here is Tony Stewart.
Could be a top 5.
Last week he started 11th and finished 7th at the Brickyard 400.
Pretty close to what Mark Martin did, I think. We'll see.
Just a little better than Mark.
120, 242, 73, 352 seconds.
So only 3 qualifiers remain now. It appears as if Rusty Wallace may have another pole position for 1999. Stay with us. 33rd best at 74.714 seconds, 118.050. And so remaining on the bubble here as we get close to the end of qualifying is the number 44 car of Kyle Petty, and on the racetrack is David Murray in the 61 car.
This is first potential. The Winston Cup.
It is at Watkins Glen.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, again, to recap what has happened, and by the way, we're going to be going to John Kernan, RPM today here in just a moment. We will not be talking with whoever wins the pole in our coverage of qualifying, but stay with us, and we will be back live here to talk with the pole sitter in RPM today. Rusty Wallace right now is on the provisional pole, and Gorset is second quick with Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Mark Martin, the top 5 fastest qualifiers.
There you see the top 25 with Kyle Petty, the man on the hot seat. And got a pretty decent lap going. That might, if he gets off the good, he got a little high there, but might get him in the top 25.
He, of course, called upon because of his experience on the road courses. And let's see where he falls to. Well, he didn't do it. He's down to 31st fastest, 118.350, a 74.525 second lap. Here's Jerry.
And for David Murray, this would be his first Winston Cup start. He is a driver for Team Porsche. He drove the Porsche in Le Mans a year ago, drove for Team Lotus, came here and tried to qualify at Watkins Glen back in 1995 and missed the field by 2/1000ths of a second. This would be, though, his very first Winston Cup start driving for Mark Thompson.
And the final qualifier, Gentilossi, Paul Gentilossi, that hurt him then.
Yes, it did. And I think turn 11 hurt Murray coming off of there when he got very, very high. I believe, according to my watch, he had a run going that would have gotten him in the top 25, and this is certainly going to hurt Paul. That move that we saw there just a moment ago.
Well, it was interesting to hear him say a few minutes ago that he is nervous. He has participated in more Trans Am races than you can shake a stick at and has been highly successful in that series. But he comes here with the big boys and gets a little nervous in his qualifying run, and maybe it showed down there in turn number 1 when the car got sideways with him just a little bit. So he'll try to salvage the best that he can as he comes off corner number 9 and heads for 10.
He looked pretty good through the other corners after he got by that first one. See how he looks at our checkpoint over here coming to 211. I don't know, Bob. It's questionable whether he gets in the top 25. Very fast break.
Well, the checkered flag drops, and we have completed qualifying here for the Frontier at the Glen. And we'll see if Paul Gentilossi was able to get into the top 25 or whether Kyle Petty will stay on the bubble. No, Gentilossi was well below that. 44th fastest at 75.579 seconds, 116.699. And so Rusty Wallace wins his 24th career pole and his second of 1999. Here are the results of qualifying. How about Boris Said up there in second position? He'll start alongside Rusty in row 1. Gordon and Stewart comprise row 2. And in the third row, Mark Martin, Jerry Nuno, another former Trans Am champion Ron Fellows will start in 7th position. Dale Jarrett, points leader, will begin from 9th. Now let's take a look at 16 through 30.
Of course, only 25 are locked in. Kyle Petty got the last position here today. Wally Dallenbach will probably stand on his time along with Jeff Burton for tomorrow and get their car ready for the race.
Of course, depending upon weather, but you have to feel that since second round qualifying is much earlier in the day than it was today, that most of these guys are going to stand on their time except for those who have to qualify and get into the lineup. Jeremy Mayfield spun on his qualifying attempt. That's the reason that he was the slowest at 105.769. So thanks for joining us here at Watkins Glen. John Kernan has the RPM Tonight report coming up in just a moment. We'll see you tomorrow for the Busch North race. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, proudly celebrating our 20th anniversary. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.